The logical thinker who sometimes makes emotional decisions? The practical planner who occasionally takes impulsive risks? These contradictions exist like instruments in an internal orchestra, sometimes playing in harmony, other times creating discord. 4 distinct personality types operate within you, each competing for the conductor's baton. Only one controls your conscious decisions, while the others influence from the shadows, subtly shaping your thoughts and behaviors in ways you might not recognize. Today, we're bringing all these hidden players into the light, revealing the symphony that creates your unique self. So don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Have you ever tried to explain yourself to someone and watched their eyes glaze over, like you're speaking a language they can't understand? There's that moment when you realize they're hearing your words but completely missing your meaning. You can almost see the disconnect happening in real time. You're trying to share something important about yourself, but they've already filed you away in some mental category that doesn't fit who you really are. This is a prison that many of us live in every day. You express your natural way of thinking, only to be labeled as too analytical or overthinking things. You share your genuine feelings, and suddenly you're too sensitive or not being logical. These misunderstandings create real barriers in your life. Think about suggesting an innovative approach in a meeting, only to have someone shut it down because that's not how we do things here. Or explaining to your partner why something matters to you, and they respond with complete bewilderment. These are symptoms of something deeper. The problem is that people walk around with invisible psychological filters that transform how they perceive reality. Like wearing different colored lenses, these filters tint everything they see. Your coworker literally cannot see the world the way you do. Your partner's mind processes information in a fundamentally different way than yours. These differences create constant friction in our daily lives. The detail-oriented manager clashes with the big-picture employee. The logical problem solver frustrates the values-driven team member. The practical realist butts heads with the future-focused visionary. These aren't personality conflicts, but different operating systems trying to communicate without a shared language. What's worse is how we try to fix these misunderstandings. We force ourselves into personality boxes that don't fit, pretending to be more outgoing, more analytical, more practical than we really are. We exhaust ourselves trying to be someone we're not, all to avoid the pain of being misunderstood. I experienced this firsthand in my early career. My natural tendency is to look for patterns and possibilities, to see what could be rather than just what is. During one critical product development meeting, I presented a vision for where our technology could evolve, but my colleagues stared back with blank expressions. One finally said, "That's interesting, but can we focus on the actual requirements?" I felt my ideas evaporate into the air, unheard. I worked in an environment that valued concrete details and established procedures. My ideas were dismissed as impractical or too abstract. I started to doubt myself, wondering if there was something wrong with how my mind worked. What I didn't realize then was that this clash wasn't about right versus wrong ways of thinking. It was about fundamentally different but equally valid ways of processing reality. Research shows that these personality mismatches are among the leading causes of workplace dissatisfaction and relationship breakdowns. Over 60% of workplace conflicts stem from different approaches to processing and prioritizing information. These misunderstandings follow specific patterns identified by Carl Jung. After years of treating patients and studying human behavior, Jung discovered something revolutionary. Beneath our individual differences, humans perceive and interact with the world in 4 fundamental ways. These are deep psychological structures that shape how we see reality itself. Jung recognized that some people primarily engage with the world through logical analysis, while others navigate through values and emotional impacts. Some focus on concrete details and sensory information, while others are naturally attuned to patterns, possibilities, and meanings. These are completely different ways of experiencing reality. We all possess all 4 of these functions. but they're arranged in a unique hierarchy in each of us. Your dominant function feels natural and effortless. It's how you automatically process the world. But when you try to communicate with someone whose dominant function is different from yours, it's like speaking different languages without a translator. These 4 psychological types, thinking, feeling, sensing, and intuition, are active forces that shape every choice you make, every conversation you have, and every relationship you build. They determine what you notice, what energizes you, and what makes sense to you. Understanding them doesn't just improve your communication, it can transform your entire life direction. Beyond theory lies the reality of your daily experience, the part of your mind that craves order, consistency, and logical precision. Ever notice how you can spot the flaw in an argument instantly while others completely miss it? Or how you find yourself explaining things step by step while others grow impatient? The truth is, your brain might be processing reality through a completely different filter than most people around you. This filter is what Jung identified as the thinking type, a fundamental aspect of personality that shapes how you interact with the world. It's a core psychological function that drives you to seek rationality and objective truth in all situations. When this function dominates your personality, you become a natural analyzer of everything around you, constantly breaking down complex problems into their component parts. The thinking type manifests as an inner voice that demands logical coherence. It's the part of you that feels physically uncomfortable when faced with contradictions or illogical statements. While others might dismiss inconsistencies or accept emotional reasoning, your mind automatically constructs frameworks and systems to understand the world. Your analytical mind works like a finely tuned engine, processing information with remarkable efficiency. But this engine can sometimes overheat when navigating the unpredictable traffic of emotional situations. These cognitive patterns don't just shape how you think, they fundamentally alter how you interact with others and navigate professional spaces. Consider this scenario. During a team meeting about a new project, you meticulously outline potential inefficiencies and logical flaws in the proposal. While your analysis is sound, colleagues appear uncomfortable, later suggesting you were shooting down ideas, when in your mind you were simply ensuring the project's success through careful evaluation. This disconnect can make you appear cold or distant to others, especially in environments where emotional intelligence is highly valued. You might find yourself explaining your perfectly reasonable position only to be met with accusations of being heartless or robotic. The frustration comes because you prioritize objective truth over emotional considerations when making decisions. The strengths of thinking types are powerful when properly channeled. Your capacity for creating effective systems, solving complex problems, and making objective decisions gives you advantages in many situations. Engineers who design bridges that don't collapse, scientists who develop life-saving medications, and programmers who create efficient algorithms all rely heavily on this function. When faced with a challenge, you instinctively break it down into constituent parts, analyze the relationships between those parts, and rebuild a solution piece by piece. While others might get overwhelmed by complexity or distracted by emotional aspects of a situation, you methodically work through each element until the puzzle is solved. This approach leads to profound insights that others might miss. However, this intense focus on internal analysis can sometimes make you appear disconnected from the conversation, as if you're lost in your own mind. Because in many ways, you are. If you're a thinking type surrounded by people who prioritize emotional considerations, you might feel like you're speaking a different language. You present facts and logical analysis. They respond with feelings and personal values. Neither approach is wrong, but the gap between them can leave you feeling isolated and misunderstood. Thinking manifests differently based on whether you're introverted or extroverted. Introverted thinkers internalize their logical processes, diving deep into analysis while appearing quiet or reserved. Extroverted thinkers organize the external world to match their logical frameworks, creating systems and structures that others can follow. This understanding explains why you might feel misunderstood even when being completely honest about who you are. When you express yourself through your dominant thinking function, you're communicating in a language that feels natural to you, yet others perceive you differently than you intend. This is why finding careers that align with your strengths becomes crucial. Environments that value objective truth, logical reasoning, and systematic approaches allow your natural abilities to flourish. Scientific research, engineering, computer programming, and similar fields create spaces where your analytical skills are recognized as the assets they truly are. Have you ever felt that tightening in your chest when a decision looks perfect on paper, but something inside you screams that it's wrong? While thinking types flourish in environments of logical precision, there exists an equally powerful, yet fundamentally different way of navigating reality. This isn't weakness or irrationality. It's a sophisticated intelligence system that guides nearly half the population through a world that often refuses to acknowledge its validity. The feeling type processes reality through an entirely different framework. Where thinking types construct mental models based on objective facts and logical consistency, feeling types build their understanding through values, relationships, and harmony. Like a skilled conductor who instantly senses when a single instrument is out of tune within an entire orchestra, feeling types perceive the emotional undertones that others miss. This ability represents an advanced form of intelligence that sees beyond surface-level logic. This fundamental difference creates a chasm between thinking and feeling types that can feel impossible to bridge. Ever been called too emotional when all you wanted was to preserve important relationships? Or perhaps you've watched in frustration as someone rejected a perfectly logical solution because it just didn't feel right. This isn't merely an annoying disagreement. It's two people literally processing the same information through incompatible systems. The truth is that feeling types make decisions through a complex values-based algorithm that's every bit as sophisticated as logical analysis. When faced with choices, they instinctively evaluate options against their internal ethical framework, considering how decisions will affect people involved, alignment with core values, and preservation of harmony. These are the primary data points that form the foundation of their decision-making. This approach creates remarkable strengths that often go unrecognized. Feeling types excel at reading social environments with almost supernatural precision. They sense shifts in mood before others notice them, adapt effortlessly to social expectations, and intuitively understand how to make others feel seen and valued. This is a form of intelligence that recognizes the complex emotional tapestry underlying all human interactions. Think about the person in your life who always knows exactly what to say in tense situations, who can diffuse conflicts before they explode, who somehow makes everyone feel comfortable even in awkward settings. Their ability to navigate complex social dynamics is a sophisticated skill set that drives success in countless professional environments. Yet society constantly mischaracterizes these strengths as weaknesses. Feeling types are labeled irrational when they're actually utilizing a different but equally valid form of intelligence. Imagine a world where logical thinking was considered a character flaw, where your careful analysis was dismissed as overthinking. That's the reality many feeling types navigate daily. Feeling manifests differently depending on whether it's introverted or extroverted. Extroverted feeling types are natural mediators who instinctively sense what a group needs to function smoothly, adapting to the emotional needs of their environment. They're like social glue, holding communities together. Introverted feeling types, however, follow a deeply personal moral compass that may not align with external expectations. They stand firm on principles even when facing social disapproval, like a lighthouse unmoved by stormy seas. Feeling types thrive in environments that value human connection, empathy, and ethical considerations. They excel in counseling, teaching, social work, human resources, and the arts. Anywhere their natural ability to understand and connect with others becomes an asset rather than a liability. The key to transforming your relationships with people who process information differently isn't tolerance. It's genuine appreciation for these complementary strengths. When thinking and feeling types collaborate, bringing both logical analysis and values-based considerations to the table, the resulting decisions are often far more robust than either could produce alone. The problem isn't that these differences exist. It's that we fail to recognize their complementary nature. While feeling types process the world through values and emotional resonance, there's another dimension of personality that divides us even more fundamentally. Think about the person in your life who seems obsessively focused on what is, while you're dreaming about what could be. This represents a completely different operating system, and understanding it might finally explain why you and certain people seem to live in entirely different realities. Meet the sensing types, the realists of Jung's personality system. These individuals experience the world with remarkable clarity, grounded in tangible reality, and trusting what they directly observe through their five senses. Like a high-definition camera that captures every detail in perfect focus, sensing types register specifics that others miss. If you've ever been amazed by someone who can recall minute details from a meeting that happened months ago, or who instinctively notices when something in a room has been moved even slightly, you've witnessed the sensing function in action. The clash between sensing types and their counterparts, intuitives, is perhaps the most profound of all personality differences. When a sensing type says, "Let's focus on the facts," they're operating from a worldview where concrete reality takes precedence over theoretical possibilities. I once worked with a sensing type engineer who spotted a tiny measurement error in construction plans that would have caused an entire building section to fail inspection, saving the company millions in corrections. While intuitives might sketch the building's possibilities and future impact, the sensing type ensured it could actually stand. What makes sensing types remarkable is their exceptional ability to navigate the immediate environment with precision. In crisis situations, they spring into action while others are still processing what's happening. A sensing type firefighter assesses the concrete situation and responds immediately.